This is the Parent Portal Show.
You've seen prices rise from the dinner table to the pump, but Allstate agents are seeing ways to save you money on insurance. From starting a new policy to bundling coverage or even driving safely, Allstate agents know how to maximize your savings. They'll share their knowledge as they help you personalize your coverage. Because when it comes to seeing all the ways to save, Allstate agents do it best.
Mike Hammer has over 35 years as an Austin area Allstate agent. Call 512-343-6994 or visit MikeHammer@allstate.com.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
All right, Coach, talk to me about Notre Dame a little bit. With athletic director Jack Swarbrick. Is that right? Swarbrick?
Yep, Swarbrick is his name, and they're not just making moves on the field, they're making moves in Congress as well. He was part of the delegation that went to Congress this week and spoke before them. And you know what? He has come forward with an idea that is kind of different, kind of radical. That the NCAA has really come back on the side of they don't want the athletes to be considered employees of the universities and the institutions. And they're pretty firm on that. Well, Jack Swarbrick is trying to find a way to dance around that. And what he's looking to do is he says, we don't have the mechanism to collective bargain without them being employees. It would require a new mechanism. And so what he's proposing is some type of way where the athletes can come in and bargain, if you will, for their NIL deals without them being considered employees of the institutions. I think that we always talk about money, and from my end, you're really looking at this from the standpoint of like, the universities are trying to protect themselves and the money that they're getting.
Yeah.
Because the athletes are saying, no, man, we're the ones out here performing. We're the ones that should get paid. We're getting paid by the people that employ us. And so you got two different camps that are out there, and you're trying to call one thing something when it really is another thing.
Yeah. Well, and I think what I'm kind of picking up on this is it also is going to limit the transfer portal. And I get it. I understand no coach wants to sign a kid that next year he may go off and play for a better offer from another team. But golly, there's the kids, the student athletes have been such the underdog for so long. And it's kind of swinging back the other way. And it's probably driving these coaches mad a little bit, but it's just the NCAA has not been a good advocate for student athletes at the table for quite some time. So I think there's a little cynicism as they come up and try to tell everyone this is better for everyone involved.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, do as I say, not as I do. Because for, years, I can't put a number on it, but I'm going to say decades and decades, the NCAA was somebody that, was pulling in that money.
Yeah.
And that money didn't go to the athletes. That money went to the NCAA, maybe some of the universities. And now they're in a place where that money, which they needed to operate, right? They needed that money to fill their coffers, is now going to the athletes, and they're screaming. They're being squeezed on this, and it's a different feeling. But the thing that I find ironic is like they're not dealing with an entity that is going to be the same next year.
Yeah,
it's a different group of athletes next year. It's a different group of athletes 2 years from now. And so for them they're really in a place of like, with no guardrails, they don't even know how to start to begin to put in place, who do we negotiate with?
Right.
there's nothing out there. And so because of the lack of leadership from the NCAA, and I put that firmly on them. This is something that has been before Congress 10 times since NIL came out, and nothing has happened. You've had two commissioners and nothing has happened.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're even calling it the Wild Wild West, so everyone's still of that impression that things aren't getting done correctly. We're not, there's the concern about how the athletes are, not how they're going to be treated at the bargaining or at the table, at the negotiation table. But it is frustrating because, again, it just speaks to some of the challenges that aren't getting solved. And some of the simple things like standardized contracts, even a database of um, the collectives or not so much the collectives.
Agents.
Yeah, the agents
Yeah.
and the players that are involved, or not the players, the third parties that are involved. That's the key, because that's where the real problems are going to happen. So, yeah, it's still pretty
It's
messy, Coach.
it's gonna get messier and before there's a solution on it, because what you'll see happen if it just stays the same is you're going to see, you know, university. This is my opinion. You're going
Yeah,
to see universities put in places where, these big universities, the blue bloods, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, all the blue bloods are going to lose athletes to
right.
other schools that are willing to pay them and have the money to do it. And they're going to see their lack of performance on the field, on the court, diminish, and that's what their fan base screams the most about. And you've seen it already. Our good friend over there in Alabama
Tommy.
screaming his head off.
Yeah,
The coach at Duke, you remember Stoops?
yeah.
Stoops losing his
Ken-
mind over it, and it's like
Kentucky.
they
Yeah,
can see it. And
yeah,
if you listen to them, they're saying it loud and clear. We don't have any money to be able to stay up with these teams that are doing this.
yeah. Well, we've talked about this. It's just to look to Congress to solve these problems. It's just the most ridiculous idea. It really is. And again, pulling politicians in to solve something that, first of all, they don't even want to mess with. That in and of itself is kind of stupidity. But the second thing is, this is if it's done correctly, it should be a competitive marketplace. Players should have the ability. You know what? If blue bloods, if the big teams aren't going to pay them, which they have all the money in the world, so if kids can't get their value there, then let them go somewhere else. They should have that right. So I think it's going to shake out. I think the courts are going to eventually solve all this. I don't think Congress is going to be where it's going to end up. And a lot of these hand wringing and woe is me kind of situations are just going to have to work themselves out. And it's unfortunate. There will be some situations where kids will be absolutely taken advantage of. That's what upsets me. But no one's called me yet. I haven't had Charlie Baker hasn't rung my phone yet to ask me what I think
Hadn't
about
reached
all
out
this.
to you yet, huh?
No.
No, okay.
All right, we're moving along just wonderfully here. I'm liking it. Oh, speak of the phone ringing and not ringing. Charlie Baker's our next article. Oh no. Oh no, please. All right, we're going to do NCAA's Baker asks for Congress for limited liability protection. Is that where we're going? All right, I'm going to get a sip of water too. Let me grab that. Oop, 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 oop. All right, give me 1 second. It's still uploading or doing something here, so it's not giving me a record button. Oh, it is recording. It's well, it does say it's trying to stop, but it's not stopping. So I don't know what to tell you there, Coach. It wants me to.
You've seen prices rise from the dinner table to the pump, but Allstate agents are seeing ways to save you money on insurance. From starting a new policy to bundling coverage or even driving safely, Allstate agents know how to maximize your savings. They'll share their knowledge as they help you personalize your coverage. Because when it comes to seeing all the ways to save, Allstate agents do it best.
Mike Hammer has over 35 years as an Austin area Allstate agent. Call 512-343-6994 or visit MikeHammer@allstate.com.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the Parent Portal Show.